So I'm in Australia and currently at the moment we are on level 3 lockdown. So we've been on level 3 lockdown for a bit over a week now. I think it's kind of unclear when we moved to level 3. 2 weeks ago today, exactly. It's Monday the 6th of April right now. And 2 weeks ago today, we went to level 2 lockdown, which was cafes and restaurants closed for dine-in, but were and still are open for takeaway and delivery, and retail stores are still open because they're considered an essential service, but people are only meant to go if they need to, which I don't know, is a bit weird because obviously grocery stores and pharmacies in some places are essential, but does anyone need to go buy a new top right now or a new couch? I don't know, it seems all a bit weird, but yeah, so right now we're supposed to stay home as much as we can, but if we need to go out, to go to the supermarket, to go to the pharmacy, to go to the doctor, we can go to work if we're classified as essential. So that's being a teacher, being a doctor, a nurse, working in any kind of, retail place, grocery store, pharmacy, lots of office jobs and stuff, even though we're meant to be working from home. If their workplace wants them to keep working at the office, then that's deemed essential. Cleaners are still having to go and clean schools, and so lots of people are still working when a lot of people could be not working. So public transport's all still running, yeah, so it's kind of weird because on the one hand, lots of stuff has changed, but also lots of things are still running as normal. So it's a bit of a weird atmosphere. And I live in Kinglake, which is a rural area in the mountains, and everyone here seems to be taking it quite seriously, which is pretty good. We do keep getting tourists still though. It's a tourist area, which we had a problem with for a while. So the police here have been really on top of it with fining. So here people can get fined 1,600 Australian dollars for being out for a non-essential activity. And they're on-spot fines, and the fines go upwards from there. And, if they're just going for a joyride or whatever, and we're allowed to go out to exercise, but with the stage 3 lockdown, the exercise is supposed to be, within our neighbourhood and stuff. So, obviously if people aren't from Kinglake and they're here going for a bushwalk, that's when they're getting fined. So here it's a bit weird because, people are on lockdown, the local supermarket, people are in and out really quickly and it's all really good. But then if we need to go downtown to the bigger supermarkets, and stuff like that to get more supplies that our supermarket doesn't have, we'll have to go to the doctor. It's really weird because people just don't seem to be taking it seriously, and they're not really adhering to the social distancing. So supermarkets and retail stores and things, they have big stickers X's on the ground to tell you where to stand so that you're 1.5 meters apart. But people just aren't standing on them, and some people are almost, it seems going out of their way to not do it, as if they're kind of making fun of people who are paranoid about it. It's all a bit weird. Yeah, so our Prime Minister Scott Morrison is I don't know, making some weird calls in my opinion, but I guess it's hard, and it's not just one person, he represents it, but it's it's a lot of people behind the scenes making decisions, and it's hard because there's lots of effects on the economy of completely locking down and all that. But honestly, I think we should be doing more of what Spain and Italy and other countries overseas are doing, just fully locked down except for really essential stuff, not essential things we've got right now, but full on essential services. because yeah, then if we do that, we won't keep getting more cases, and hopefully this lockdown will be over quicker. Like, I know the whole flattening the curve thing actually does mean it'll take longer. That's the whole point. But like, to a degree, like, the better that you self-isolate, the quicker the flattening the curve will happen, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like when you're sort of half doing it, like we are here in Australia, it means that the cases are still trickling through a little bit more than we want it to. So yeah, I don't know, but they were doing a lot of testing at the start, and now like lots of places have run out of tests, so now they'll really only test you if like you're at risk and you've been in contact with like a known case and like lots of other things. So for example, my brother was living in Paris. He was studying in Paris, and he came back, so he had to isolate for 2 weeks, and he has had a really sore throat for a few days and stuff, but he hasn't had a temperature. But anyway, so he went to the doctor today, and it turns out he has like a bacterial throat infection or something. But it, like, because he's young and quite fit, and even though he was from overseas, like, he hasn't been near anyone who's confirmed to have had it. Like, he just asked the doctor because he was curious, and he wouldn't have gotten tested for it, you know, regardless, because it was one of those things where, like, even if he had it, they probably would have said, look, just go home and isolate. You can't be, you know, whereas they know he definitely doesn't have it. So, yeah, that's kind of it with what's going on around here. I guess it's a bit of a prepping for the worst sort of thing. Like, it doesn't feel like it's gotten that bad yet, but we know that it's going to get worse. Sorry, I split the video in two so that it would send. So yeah, it feels like we're sort of prepping for the worst, because even though we're getting more and more cases every day, so far we've been okay, but like, it's obviously, we know what's happened overseas, and we know that we can't handle that. No, we can. So it's sort of like everyone's just waiting and kind of terrified. So yeah, my family have, we just early on chose to, I guess, self-isolate anyway. So it's been probably about 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks since, like, yeah, a month since we've been living normally. Like, I've been avoiding, like, the first sort of week was just avoiding doing anything that I could. I went to uni once. That whole day I was super paranoid all day, and since then really I've just been only going out when I have to. So yeah, it's been really weird. But now that it's getting colder and more wintry, I don't know, it feels less weird to be inside and just, you know, reading and doing work at home and all that kind of stuff, because I guess it's just like snuggle inside kind of weather anyway. So yeah, I guess if this ends up being a long-term thing, kind of glad we got our summer. So I do feel bad for those on the other side of the world that are going to be sitting inside and looking at the nice sunshine outside. And yeah, again, my family are really lucky. We've got 11 acres, so we've got this beautiful space outside. So when the weather is nice and sunny, we get to hang out there. So yeah, I think just this whole quarantine, self-isolation, kind of stay-at-home stuff, it just really shows that everyone's situation is really different, and has made me recognize how lucky we are. Like, some people are homeless and don't have anywhere to go, you know, and some people's living situations are really not great. So yeah, it's I guess not everyone's isolation is equal. Yeah, and I really can't imagine going through this being crammed in little apartments where the, you know, toilet is in the kitchen, like lots of tiny little, you can't even call them apartments in, I know, lots of Asian countries, I've seen them, and you know, undeveloped countries where they don't even have proper buildings, and they don't have internet, and they don't have you know, obviously all the technology and stuff we have to entertain ourselves and things like that, like, you know, where obviously people are complaining about having to stay at home and not listening to stuff, and it's like, is it really that hard for you to sit in here in your place with your PlayStation and your Nintendo Switch and your iPhone and computer and all your books to read and stuff to draw and things, when, you know, some people are crammed in a tiny apartment with lots of people, and some people do this every day when they're not isolating. And I don't know, that was a bit of a rant, but